From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us on your Friday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. The suspect in a triple shooting that led to a SWAT situation and a lot of tense moments this week in Billings appeared in court today. 39-year-old Darrell Bryant is facing 3 counts of attempted murder. Our David J. has the latest on the case.
We're learning new details about what led to a SWAT situation near South 32nd Street West and King Avenue West. We know that 3 people were shot during a domestic disturbance. Court documents released on Friday are giving us a better idea about what happened inside one of these homes.
This is an attempted homicide case.
The Yellowstone County prosecutor didn't mince words Friday morning during Darrell Bryant's initial court appearance.
The defendant tried to murder his wife and his 16-year-old son and his son's 18-year-old friend by emptying a firearm in the family living room.
Police were called shortly before 2 a.m. Wednesday to the Golden Meadows Mobile Home Park after reports of a shooting. Neighbors describe a scary scene.
They were arguing. She was in the car trying to leave. And then next thing you know, she took off. He ended up punching their mailbox.
I heard him and seen the guy break into the door, but you couldn't tell who was firing or who wasn't.
The situation escalated after that. According to documents, defendant fired multiple rounds inside the residence, shooting D first, then KB, and then pointed the gun directly at TG's face. TG said he put up his hand to block his face, and the defendant fired a round through TG's hand. The defendant then shot TG twice at point-blank range in the chest. KB stated the defendant ran out of bullets and then began hitting D and TG with a candelabra. Bryant then went down the hallway, presumably to get more ammunition, according to the victims. At this time, there's no update on the condition of the people with the gunshot wounds. KB is 45 and listed in the documents as Bryant's intimate partner, but mentioned as his wife in court on Friday. Police believe Bryant was barricaded inside the home Wednesday morning, but documents revealed he left shortly after shooting the victims. KB told investigators that Bryant has a girlfriend, JS, who picked up Bryant on Gable Road.
The defendant is an obvious flight risk, Your Honor. After shooting 3 people, he called his girlfriend to come pick him up and take him to Bozeman.
JS stopped with Bryant in Columbus, where he was arrested, and JS reported that the defendant said he would not go back to prison and would rather die by suicide or suicide by cop. The judge set Bryant's bond at $1.5 million, and he remains in the Yellowstone County Detention Facility. In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Well, this week, Montana homeowners have begun filing their claims to receive a state property tax rebate, but some have had questions about how to find a key piece of information needed for that application. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian explains some of the ways to access your property's geocode.
As of Friday, more than 80,000 Montanans have already submitted applications to receive a state property tax refund. The applications have some specific information required to make sure that the refunds go out only to Montana residents on their primary homes. Much of the information is stuff you'll already be familiar with, but one you may not know as well is your property's geocode. A geocode is a 17-digit number that uniquely identifies each piece of property in Montana, starting with the county code as seen on license plates. To find it, the Montana Department of Revenue is directing applicants to the state cadastral website. You can search for your property using either the county and the owner's last name or the city and street address. And when you click on the parcel, the geocode will be displayed. But you also have plenty of other options for finding the code. Some counties offer their own online GIS mapping services, where you can also find your parcel and then its geocode. Additionally, counties that have online property tax systems generally include the geocode when you search for your property. Homeowners may also be able to get the geocode by contacting their mortgage lenders. You can find a link to the rebate application, Montana Cadastral, and some of the other sites we mentioned on our website. The deadline to turn in your application for a refund is October 1st. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Well, quite a bit cooler over the western half of the state today, 80s and low 90s there. The warmer weather stayed east of the divide, several places 99 degrees, triple digits, 101 at Glasgow, 102 in Miles City for the hot spot. We did have some wind move through the area with those high base thunderstorms out there. You can see several places gusting into the 50s, 62 at Windham, 64 at Livingston, 61 at Bozeman, 52 here in Billings. Some of the details we want to talk about just a little bit later in the newscast. Again, that Canadian cold front is going to move through overnight, bringing cooler weekend temperatures for us Saturday and Sunday, about 15 or 20 degrees cooler than what we've experienced. Waves of monsoonal moisture bring showers through the area, and there's going to be some moisture remnants of Hillary coming to the north. We'll have details in just a bit.
Well, this year marks the 104th Crow Fair, also called the teepee capital of the world, with some 1,500 teepees set up, including one that hopes to see a lot of new faces. Our Diane Parker and Alina Howder have more tonight on this huge event.
Dwella, welcome.
If you've never been, there's so much history and culture to soak in, no matter where you're from.
My name's Sean Backbone. You're welcome at my camp. Come over and we'll have a good time.
Sean Backbone is the elected powwow manager of the largest Native American encampment in the world, boasting some 1,500 teepees. In fact, Crow Fair is known as the teepee capital of the world, but many who live here in Montana haven't seen it in person.
We wanted to invite the people in Yellowstone County, Bighorn County, all the local counties around us. So come see us.
The view from Backbone's camp is a front row seat with a daily parade going right by at 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday.
The bomb will go off. These bombs are real loud, and that starts everything.
The Crow way of life is a unique culture. We decorate our horses in beadwork and we make them look nice.
The parade is just the start to a full day of immersing yourself in Crow culture and history, an annual tradition in its 104th year that used to be very different.
Crow Fair was not a powwow. It was not this. At that time, it was early reservation when they wanted Native Americans to become farmers, like they were forced to become farmers.
The produce exhibit evolved into what you'll see today, an incredible display of pride aimed at keeping Crow culture alive, led by a dozen Crow princesses.
The grand entry at the Crow Fair powwow is probably one of the most beautiful sights you'll ever see.
The grand entry features various men, women, and children's powwow dance categories, like hot dance and fancy feather, all with big prize money.
Hello everybody, my name is Dorothea Rosenskilken, 2020 Chinese Incarnation Princess, and I invited you all to come and watch the Crow Hop dance.
It's a unique dancing, just because it's the only thing crows do, and that's the only place you can see it is here, so I hope you all come.
To an experience truly unlike any other.
I can see a lot, but you're gonna have to come and see it for yourself and enjoy it, and then you have your own story.
In Crow Agency, Diane Parker, MTN News.
One of the biggest parts of Crow Fair is the dancing, and dozens of categories will feature hundreds of dancers over the weekend. They'll be clad in colorful regalia, celebrating the Crow and Apsolica culture. Some have spent decades perfecting this craft, and you can learn a few of these dances too over at the Eagle Seeker Community Center in Billings.
It's a form of expression that encompasses spirituality, history, and culture.
So you take 2 steps with 1 foot.
But for Crow native Monty Turns Plenty, powwow dancing also means much more.
I started dancing when I was about 10, and it's been such a huge part of my life. Like, it has become a really big part of who I am and just how I look at the world.
Turns Plenty now wants to share this lost art.
I've gotten a lot of requests to do a dance class for the younger generation especially.
It's why she, along with the Native American Development Corporation, hosted this first of its kind free powwow dance class at the Eagle Seeker Community Center last month. Located in the Old Shrine Auditorium.
I guess that's one of my main goals, especially with the younger generation, is teaching them something that they can focus on and have fun with and learn a lot, because I learned a lot of respect, a lot about our culture.
Not only is it a way to keep the culture alive, it also serves as a reminder of the plight Indigenous tribes like the Crow had to endure.
There's a song that's sung during each grand entry at every powwow. It's a victory song, and they always talk about how amazing it is that we are still here as our people, and we are thriving. We're still here able to dance and do this after all those years.
Students here learn the basics of 3 different dance styles: Crow traditional, jingle, and fancy shawl. All dances you'll see at this year's Crow Fair. And it's not just about the movement, but the regalia, the history, and the music too.
There are some songs you hear and it just gives you chills. And so to be able to move to that, I think it goes way back, to our ancestors and what they have been able to pass down to us.
Songs and dances passed down to Moni, and one she's now passing on to others through these classes.
I'm excited. I want to have more classes in the future. I'm hoping to maybe travel to Crow or just like local areas to teach anybody who is willing to learn.
In Crow Agency, Alina Howder, MTN News.
Well, still to come on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, best of the best. Some local FedEx drivers taking on the top truckers in the nation this week. And a Montana UFC fighter aiming for a world title will weigh in with Sean O'Malley a little later in sports.
The MTN 10 o'clock news continues right after this.